Imagine a world where the rich live in a floating city in the sky, and everything they don't want anymore gets thrown down into a pit below. Trash, criminals, people that they don't care about. That's where our main character lives, and when he gets falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit, he gets thrown down too. Except instead of dying, he comes back. Gachiakuta, one of the best shonen anime in years, and I'm not throwing around that lightly. Spoiler-free breakdown right now.
The hype starts now! The hype starts now! Anime hype what?
Alright, let's get into it. Gachiakuta is based on a manga by Kai Urana, serialized in weekly shonen magazines since 2022. If the art style looks familiar to you, there's a reason for that. Urana worked as an assistant to Atsushi Okubo, the creator of Fire Force and Soul Eater. That punk, gritty, slightly unhinged visual energy runs in the DNA of this series from panel 1. The anime adaptation is handled by Bones Film, a subsidiary of Studio Bones, the same house behind My Hero Academia and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It premiered July 6, 2025, ran for 24 consecutive episodes, and Season 2 has already been announced. Here's your setup. Rudo is a kid living in the slums beneath a wealthy floating city called the Sphere. The people above throw away everything they don't need, and Rudo survives by scavenging that trash. His adoptive father, Regto, taught him that everything discarded still has value, that nothing is truly worthless. Then Regto gets murdered, Rudo gets framed for it, and instead of going to prison, he gets thrown into the pit. A giant disposal zone where criminals and garbage go to disappear forever. Except the pit isn't just a garbage dump. It's a living nightmare filled with creatures called trash beasts, monsters born from discarded objects, twisted and dangerous. And the only people who survive down there are the cleaners, a group of fighters who use something called vital instruments to battle them. A vital instrument is a discarded object that resonates with a person's soul. For Rudo, it's a rag, a literal piece of cloth, and what he does with it is one of the most creative power systems in recent shonen memory. The mission? Survive. Get strong enough and eventually make it back up to the Sphere to avenge Regto and expose the truth. Let's talk about what hit you immediately, because Gachiakuta has one of the most distinctive visual identities of any anime in 2025. The art style is deliberately punk, gritty, and raw. It doesn't look like your typical clean, polished shonen aesthetic, and that's entirely intentional. The pit feels generally disgusting and oppressive. The Sphere feels sterile and cold. The visual contrast between the two worlds does half the storytelling work before a single character opens their mouth. Bones Film handled the animation, and they brought their A game. The action choreography is where the show truly shines. Every fight feels physically grounded in a way that's unusual for the genre. Rudo isn't throwing energy blasts and screaming, he's fighting dirty, improvising, and using his environment. The animation sells that scrappiness perfectly. The vital instrument system also gives the animators a lot to play with, because every weapon is different, every fighting style is different, and the creativity on display across the full cast of the cleaners keeps the action sequences from ever feeling repetitive. The monster design. The trash beasts deserve a special mention. They're generally unsettling. The idea of taking discarded objects and turning them into horrifyingly creatures is conceptually brilliant, and the execution and animation is exactly as disturbing as it should be. One honest note, the first few episodes are visually strong, but the pacing means you don't see the full animation budget flex until the show really opens up around episode 12. Stick with it, the payoff is significant. This is where Gachiakuta earns everything. On the surface, the setup sounds familiar. Wrongly accused protagonists, revenge, motivation gets stronger through suffering. Classic shonen formula. But Gachiakuta does something that most shonen don't bother to do. It builds a world with actual thematic weight behind it. The Sphere versus the Pit isn't just a cool setting, it's a direct commentary on class divide, on what society considers disposable objects, environments, and people. The show never stops reminding you that Rudo and everyone in the pit was thrown away by people who never thought twice about it. That underlines every single arc, every fight, every character motivation. It gives the story a backbone that most action anime don't have. Rudo himself is an excellent protagonist. He's not calm and calculating, he's angry, generally viscerally angry. And the show lets him be. He's not the type to deliver a speech about Nakama power and then win with a convenient new transformation. He earns every victory the hard way, and the show makes you feel the cost of each one. The supporting cast is where Gachiakuta really separates itself from the competition. Zanka, Rudo's trainer among the cleaners, is immediately one of the best mentor characters in recent shonen. His catchphrase, "Don't underestimate ordinary people," sounds simple, but it shapes everything about how Rudo develops as a fighter. The dynamic between them is the emotional core of the first half of the show. The antagonists are also worth flagging, specifically Jabber, the main villain of the early arc. He's unhinged and generally threatening in a way that a lot of shonen villains fail to be. He doesn't monologue, he doesn't have a tragic backstory that conveniently softens him. He's a problem, and the show treats him like one. The mystery running underneath everything, what caused the division between the sphere and the pit, and what the truth of that world actually is handled with real patience. The show drops answers at exactly the right pace to keep you hooked without feeling like it's stringing you along. The one area I'd flag, the pacing in the first 10 or so episodes is deliberately slow by design, but it does ask for patience from the viewer. Some people bounce off it before the show finds its gear. If you make it to episode 12, you are in, but those first episodes require some trust. So why is this one worth your time specifically in a season that also has Dandadan Season 2 competing for the same eyeballs? Because Dandadan and Gachiakuta are completely different things. Dandadan is chaotic, funny, surreal, and incredibly stylish. It's a mood. Gachiakuta is not a mood, it's a statement. It's gritty and deliberate, and it wants you to feel something real underneath all the action. The closest comparison I can make is early My Hero Academia. Back when Deku was generally powerless and every win meant something because you understood exactly what it caused. Gachiakuta has that energy. The underdog isn't underpowered because of a plot device. He's underpowered because the system was specifically designed to keep him that way. And the Vital Instrument power system is generally one of the most creative concepts in recent shonen. The idea that your weapon is literally a discarded object that chose you, and that the strongest fighters are the ones society threw away. It's thematically perfect for the world the show is building. It's the kind of detail that makes you realize how carefully the whole thing was constructed. Let's break it down. The story, a classic revenge setup elevated by genuine thematic depth in a world that actually means something. The pacing asks for patience early on, but pays it back with serious interest. 8.5 out of 10. The characters. Rudo is one of the best shonen protagonists of 2025. Zanka is an instant fan favorite. The villain work is stronger than average. Some side characters need more development in Season 2. 8.5 out of 10. The animation. Bones Film delivered exactly what you'd hope for. Distinctive visual identity, punishing fight choreography, monster designs that actually unsettle you. 9 out of 10. The soundtrack. The opening, Hugs by Pale Dusk, is one of the most hard-hitting openings of the year. The score throughout matches raw, gritty energy of the show perfectly. 9 out of 10. Overall, Gachiakuta is a 9 out of 10. This is the rare shonen that has something to say beyond the fights. It's angry in the right way, creative in the right way, and it builds a world that rewards paying attention. The slow start is a real ask, but what's on the other side of it is some of the best shonen television in years. Season 2 is already announced. If you start now, you'll be perfectly caught up when it drops. There's no excuse to still be sleeping on this one. That's my review of Gachiakuta. Let me know in the comments where you'd rank it. Is it the best new shonen since Jujutsu Kaisen blew up? Did it deserve more love at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards? Make your case below. If you're new here, welcome to Anime Hype Watch. Honest anime reviews every week. Hit subscribe and the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.